we're celebrating the 100th anniversary of Vimy Ridge. The battle itself started at 5:30 in the morning on April the 9th, and today we are taking a moment to pause and reflect on the importance of the day, but also to connect our students to how important that day was for us 100 years ago, but also today for us as students and as people.
We fire into the air.
Correct. Good morning and welcome. This year, our school has once again embraced our Canadian identity and our enduring connection to the Battle of Vimy Ridge that started 100 years ago today. During that battle, which lasted 4 days, almost 3,500 Canadian soldiers died, and today we remember them. The battle was the first time that Canadian soldiers had fought together and were led by Canadians. Up to that day, Canadians were included in divisions that were mostly British or French. At the Battle of Vimy Ridge, Canadians controlled their own destiny and showed the world what it means to be a Canadian. We are learning about the men who have come to embody what it means to be an everyday hero. These heroes have died, but in our midst today, we have members of the Royal Canadian Legion and the Canadian Corps who have all served our country and have shown us what courage and honor are all about. We connect. Vimy Ridge was, and for us, continues to be about respect, integrity, courage, and honor. We honor these soldiers today for their actions, but we live to emulate their character. We are not soldiers, but we are people who must live and work together to make our community, our school, our country, and our world a better place. We cannot control what others do, but just like the Canadians at Vimy Ridge, we can agree what is the right thing to do, and each and every one of us can make our world a better place. Over the next week, we will be connecting our students to the story of Vimy Ridge. We will have a replica trench that is 16 feet long and 10 feet high in our library to show what life in a trench was like for those soldiers. On Wednesday, we will be visited by the author of The Vimy Oaks, A Journey to Peace. And before the end of the week, we will be planting one of these 3 oak trees that started in 1917. The acorns were placed in the bag of a Canadian soldier and brought back to Scarborough, where he planted them on what became known as the Vimy Oaks farm. Those trees have grown for 100 years, and 6 years ago, somebody had a very good idea. They decided to take cuttings from those oak trees and return those oak trees to Vimy Ridge. 100 years ago, oak trees were present, but the battle had burned and incinerated them all. We are proud to have 3 of those trees, and we will have them on our property beginning this week. When our school opened, our goal was to be everyday heroes, to make our school the best it could be, to make ourselves the best we can be. Let us continue to honor the legacy of the Battle of Vimy Ridge. Affairs Canada. And finally, the Royal Canadian Legion. We will now rise for the last post.
Present. Fire. Reload. Fire. Reload. Present. Fire. Guard will unload. Guard. Unload.
To end the ceremony today, I would like to introduce our United Voices Choir. They will be singing a song that has been written for this event by Mrs. Walker, our grade 2 teacher. Making connections is what this is all about for our students, and I can think of no better way to make a connection with the joy of music.
It was here on Vimy Ridge we showed the world what courage is. For here we stand for liberty. We are the true North, strong and free. On the fields of France and across the countryside, the fight for freedom led us into war. To the hills where many thousand soldiers died, on to Vimy marched the young Canadian Corps. It was here on Vimy Ridge we showed the world what courage is. For here we stand for liberty. We are the true North, strong and free. When Canadians took the ridge and turned the tide, one first step to end the war that raged too long, and the victory that earned the nation's pride, prove that when we stand together we are strong. It was here on Vimy Ridge we showed the world what courage is. For here we stand for liberty. We are the true North, strong and free. On the ridge there was a row of sturdy trees. They were shattered by the guns that blazed below, but a soldier saved a pocket full of seeds. the true north, strong and free.
That was the world premiere of the song.
Wonderful.
Oh, look at that.
Just a little bit.
On three. Vimy!
They left behind everything they knew to face a struggle they could not have imagined. Today it is hard to believe possible the horrors that unfolded here on the 9th of April 1917. This was a battlefield of corpses. The terrifying roar of massed artillery filled the air as one Canadian brigade signalling officer wrote, "Imagine the loudest clap of thunder you ever heard, multiplied by 2 and prolonged indefinitely. Boot-deep mud rendered each..."
That is, Vimy Ridge is not lost on some of the youngest Canadians, especially at a school in Ajax that is named after the battle. Today, Adrian Chung took a closer look at the school's deep-rooted connection to the battle and its forever-growing memorial.
100 years after the bloodshed of Vimy Ridge, and generations removed from the horrors of war, they remember.
We honor these soldiers today for their actions, but we live to emulate their character.
Of April 9th, 1917.
This 94-year-old veteran served in the Second World War. He's visited the hallowed ground of Vimy, a pilgrimage he says every Canadian should make.
60,000 people are veterans buried here, see? But then when you read a little further, it's 60,000 of that, but 40,000 of that is no names. No names. No names, you know, and that just hits you right in the heart.
It was here on Vimy Ridge.
As the choir sang the song with lyrics commemorating the sacrifice.
We are the true north, strong and free.
We're connecting to different lines in the song, and especially to the part that says, "When we stand together, we are strong." And that was very moving to me.
He has been...
But their memorial will soon extend beyond today's ceremony.
Here was to be a supreme test of the Canadian cause.
In 1917, a Canadian soldier named Leslie Miller survived the battle at Vimy. The fields were once brimming with oak trees, but the devastation of the battle had cost thousands of lives and wiped out the landscape. Still, Miller found acorns from those oak trees and sent them back to Scarborough, where he grew them on his farm. This is the original site of the Vimy Oaks farm. It's where Leslie Miller settled after he fought in World War I. And these big oaks have been growing for over 100 years, grown from the same acorns plucked from the fields of Vimy Ridge. Spare oak plants from those acorns were donated to the school, with a plan to plant them next month.
Very special, and it's the kind of story that really captures the children's imagination too, and allows them to connect.
That reminder of Vimy an ocean away springs anew. Adrian Chung, CBC News, Toronto.
And we return to our coverage of the 100th anniversary of the Battle of Vimy Ridge.
As Canada and the world remembers, a special service was held at a GTA school named after the famous battlefield. This was a scene at Vimy Ridge Public School in Ajax, where the community gathered for a special flagpole ceremony. Earlier this week, students held a special ceremony at the school featuring a candlelight procession and guest speakers. Teachers say it is how they're trying to help the children to understand the sacrifices made during the Battle of Vimy Ridge.
Over the next week, we will be connecting our students to the story of Vimy Ridge. We will have a replica trench that is 16 feet long and 10 feet high in our library to show what life in a trench was like for those soldiers.
Today's service also included a wreath-laying ceremony, last post, and reveille.
A very special story that's come out of Ms. Walker's song as well. It tells the story of what's called the Vimy Oaks. And I'm not going to give you much more details, although some of you have already heard them, because we have a wonderful and very talented author with us today, Miss Linda Granfield. And she has written several books, and I know that you have seen them before, but she has also written a book about the Vimy Oaks. And she is here today to share that story with you. And rather than give you more details about her, I'm going to leave it to her to tell the story. Okay, please join me in giving a warm Vimy welcome to Ms. Granfield.
Thank you. I'm so happy. In Flanders Fields, the red book is called the Red Book. Is that red cover? That's the one that probably changed everything I did more, because then I knew that you needed more books on War and Remembrance. So this is really the story of one soldier, Lieutenant Leslie Miller, who grew up in Scarborough, Ontario, was a teacher, and then when the First World War began, he went into the signaling corps for the Canadian forces that ended up fighting at Vimy Ridge. He was in a lot of different battles, so it isn't just one place he was, but he was definitely at Vimy Ridge. And he does not talk in the diaries he kept, or he did not write about the actual battle. After the battle, when he walked out onto the ridge, Leslie Miller picked up acorns that he found near blasted oak trees from the bombardments during the battle and previously during the war. And he sent these acorns back to Canada, to his family in Scarborough. They planted them initially because he didn't get home till after the war, at which time they gave him a parcel of land, 25 acres, to start up his own farm. And he and his wife lived there into the 1960s. It was called the Vimy Oaks in honor of the trees that he planted. The trees now there are only 10 of them left, but they are over 100 years old. And from those 10 trees, we have the oaks that are now being grown across Canada, and in November of 2018 will be growing along Vimy Ridge in various towns and villages, but specifically 100 of them will be in a new park near the Vimy Memorial. The goal, because looking at it in pictures is one thing, but being there is something else, and I think the teachers who've been there will agree. So I hope that someday you will get to go. Maybe when you're in high school, there's a school group trip to go. What's your name? Nice to meet you. You're here. You take this. So you're the one now. There you go. Perfect.
Thank you for coming here. We're very honored to have you speak to us about the Vimy Oaks and about Mr. Miller. Thank you for taking your time and presenting this to us.
You have a great smile. There you go. Now, I know y'all have to go back to your classrooms, but I want to thank you again. I've walked around your school when I got here, and I've seen more of your artwork. And boy, what a fabulous, you are so lucky what school you're in. I know you know that. So thank you to your teachers, thank you to your principal, thank you to your librarian, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Have fun with those trees.
On the ridge there was a row of sturdy trees. They were shattered by the guns that blazed below. But a soldier saved a pocket full of seeds, and he sent them home to Canada to grow. For 100 years they flourished in our land, brave reminders of the battle and the war. Now descendants of these trees return to France. They'll be oaks along the Vimy Ridge once more. It was here on Vimy Ridge we showed the world what courage is. For here we stand for liberty. We are the true North, strong and free. We are the true North, strong and free.
Oh, what fabulous song, fabulous voices. Absolutely wonderful. Oh, what a present for me tonight. Thank you so much. I know you have to just laugh. Can you do like a group hug or something? Come on, group hug. Yes. You guys are silly. Okay. Well, everyone, good job. Wow, what a talented bunch you are. Absolutely fabulous. It's kind of not a surprise to have that wonderful reaction because of the school that these children attend and the support that they have been given for, especially now with the 100th anniversary of the Battle of Vimy Ridge. So there's that dedication that is a part of their education now, their sense of remembrance of the value of what has gone before them. And that's what you see throughout the school with the artwork, the special projects. It's just part of life being a student at this school.
is almost like a playhouse, except old, and I will tell you, it is not much fun. Right here, yep, you're good right to there. You're good there. Perfect. You know, needless to say. So it's great to have you all here. I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Bryant. He offered to be the person who would teach everybody about what the trench life was like and what you see in front of you. So without any further words, I'm going to introduce Mr. Bryant. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
And you're going to have a great time learning about what life was like in the First World War at Vimy Ridge in what were called the trenches. Okay, here you go.
So how's everybody this morning? You excited? I am too. My name is Mr. Bryan. I used to serve with the Stormont, Dundas, and Glengarry Highlanders as a reserve infantryman. You get to put this on because you got the question. So that was the most important unissued kit that they had because they could do so many things with it. They could light a little candle. It would be very big. That fits me almost. Yeah, it's very big. So wear that for a little while, and then the next person gets the next question, correct? We'll allow you to put it on.
One of the things we were talking about in the assembly was the fact that all of the oak trees on the ridge were taken down, and I wonder if some of them were taken down to make to give them wood for the trenches.
Absolutely.
You know, we have described it as, you know, they burned in as a result of the battle, but I wonder if some of them came down to help.
We have to remember there's more than 10,000 miles of trenches that were created in the First World War, enough to circle the globe, Western Front. Now, the picture behind you is what the trench system began as. In the very early goings, probably 1914, 19.
That group were doing pictures of soldiers. So you can see throughout there's soldiers with right?
Oh yeah. Some did parties, yeah.
Right.
They could have ended up in parties.
Well, and we were doing it also for Canada 150. So we purchased one of everyone, and then the families were able to purchase as well.
That's really neat.
Yeah,
What a tribute.
It was all very good.
What a
Absolutely 100%. Couldn't ask for anything nicer, especially the students. I don't believe there's anywhere where you'd see students like you see here. But that's a great school. Great school. Great people.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I'll give you a hug.
Yeah, bet. Peter?
Thank
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Guys,
boys,
come together.
we need some help here to holding me up.
Okay.
I hope that they carry on for 100 years to come. We can celebrate the 200. That's the way I look at it. So I imagine they will carry on, and I'm pretty proud of Vimy Ridge Public School. I broadcast it all over. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
It's amazing what they've done with their talent. I think everybody should remember and don't forget what happened with in Vimy and other various wars, and the music and the pictures just helps you remember.
Today I was absolutely moved by the ceremony. It validates everything I've been doing for much of 20 years. To come to a school and see the enthusiasm from the kids, it drives me to bring the history alive and share with them, and they are the next generation. They will pass that torch on to the next generation beyond me.
Well, Larry, thank you so much for being here today.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
A number of years ago, I had the opportunity to visit the Canadian War Museum, and I was very struck by a print of a work of art called Ghosts of Vimy. And it's been sitting in my office now for a number of years. And when I was invited to today's ceremony, I thought, you know, this shouldn't be sitting in my office. This should be sitting somewhere at Vimy Ridge Public School. So I'd like to present this print to Mr. Creer and accept it on behalf of the school and accept it as our gift to Vimy Ridge Public School.
Thank you to the United Voices and Miss Walker for sharing such a beautiful song with us today.
100th anniversary of the Battle of Vimy Ridge, where Canadian soldiers lost their lives for our freedom. Noor Ibrahim was at Vimy Ridge Public School in Ajax today to report on the celebration that commemorates the battle.
100 years of Canadian legacy were being celebrated today at Vimy Ridge Public School in Ajax. The school held a candlelight and musical ceremony to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Battle of Vimy Ridge. Veterans of World War II were also in attendance. The Battle of Vimy Ridge took place in 1917 from April 9th to the 12th. In its 4 days, Vimy Ridge saw more than 3,500 Canadian men killed. 13-year-old Amanda Chaudhary was among the students singing the national anthem at the school ceremony. Chaudhary says she has learned lots about the Battle of Vimy Ridge.
To me, it means that this was a moment for us to show the world that Canada is a strong, independent nation, with or without the rule of Britain.
The school has displays set up all over the grounds to commemorate the battle.
We've kind of transformed our school into kind of a living museum. We have a trench behind us that we were able to pick up on Monday, and we've had almost, I think, every class come through.
In Ajax, Noor Ibrahim, Durham Now.
Here on Vimy Ridge, we show the world.
Oh yeah, okay.
How you doing?
I am great. I'm Peter Creer. I'm the principal.
Hi, Peter.
Dave, great to be here, and thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
This
Yeah,
is
glad to have you
unbelievable. Dave, this is Ann Walker,
Hi, Ann.
the
How are you?
writer of
I've
the
seen-
song.
Yeah, it's
and,
a great song.
thank
Yeah,
you.
and I've seen your website. Okay. Yes.
Hi, Ann. Hi, Peter. I'm Michael. I'm producing it. I'm filming you guys. I'm going to get some extra B-roll.
Obviously a connection to Vimy Ridge, so I think that's where he probably made his first connections.
Great, great.
But he is always with us, and it's great to have him here.
I know that you're used to being in line, but because of the microphones here, I'm going to have you all move back. So the back row, whoever's the back row, should be about here. That's right. And then come together so you're all inside the crowd, as close to the back wall as we can get. Yep. And then, hey Justin, if you hear me, can you come on down?
Have you put your lab mic back in?
We'll have to, yeah, I'm going to eventually place it on.
Yeah. You can hear me okay?
I can hear you, yeah. So I want to.
Oh, did you need it here? Let me come down.
Let's move these microphones back a little bit.
I told them like high and low, so then it's like kind of off this. Perfect. It's okay. We can juggle.
We'll angle it, but as for height,
Let's do this perfect.
Let's see if you'd like.
Can you step back here? Just so we can fit everyone in the
Gene
crowd.
is,
There we go. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And we're still recording on the phone?
Absolutely, yeah. Everything's fantastic.
Baseline, I need you to...
It was here on Vimy Ridge we show the world what courage is. For here we stand for liberty. We are the true North, strong and free. On the fields of France and across the countryside, the fight for freedom led us into war. To the hills where many thousand soldiers died. On to Vimy marched the young Canadian Corps. It was here on Vimy Ridge we show the world what courage is. For here we stand for liberty. We are the true North, strong and free. When Canadians took the ridge and turned the tide, one first step to end the war that raged too long, and the victory that earned the nation's pride, proved that when we stand together we are strong. It was here on Vimy Ridge we show the world what courage is. For here we stand for liberty. We are the true North, strong and free. On the ridge there was a row of sturdy trees. They were shattered by the guns that blazed below, but a soldier saved a pocket full of seeds, and he sent them home to Canada to grow. For 100 years they flourished in our land, brave reminders of the battle and the war. Now descendants of these trees return to France. There'll be oaks along the Vimy Ridge once more. It was here on Vimy Ridge we show the world what courage is. For here we stand for liberty. We are the true North, strong and free. We are the true North, strong and free.
That was excellent.
Awesome job.
I think maybe choir directors want to come with me and do a little bit of listening.
Sure.
And I'll see if maybe, I don't know if we can fit everyone upstairs, but.
It's beautiful.
We'll go outside in a bit. Actually, I think what they're trying to determine is, because we're just in the recording part. Oh, thank you. Listen.
There's your recording.
That's the recording playing back. So I think what they're trying to do is to see if we might have enough room upstairs where they actually have the recording, the soundboard, to be able to go and see them actually playing it back. I think that's what they're checking. And it's killing me not to go and hear it.
If anyone should be coming and listening, it should be you.
Oh.
Oh, we can hear just like.
Yes, we will. Oh.
I'll wait right here. No, we're good.
Just gonna give them a listen. Then I think maybe they can actually come upstairs.
Is there enough room? Beautiful. Okay, so we'll wait. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. We'll wait for the signal.
We are the true north, strong and free.
Aside from a couple of lines, this feels like it could be a map.
Fourth takes out of here.
Let's jump to the fourth.
Year 4?
This is the best year out of all the choir history years. This is important because this year, we have two very important things. We have Canada's 150th birthday and the 100th anniversary of the Battle of Vimy Ridge. So this year is a very important year for our school because our school is Vimy Ridge P.S.
Well said.
The only reason we're here today is because of this song.
Lots of very famous Canadian artists have recorded here. In fact, I was telling somebody, you know the Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
You know the song at the beginning? The song was recorded right where you were standing. And so when he was younger, everyone walked to school. There was no, and how far did you walk?
4 miles.
4 miles, which is about 6.5 kilometers. So that really, wow.
Let's give Mr. Gisacker an applause for walking that many kilometers.
You know how many kilometers?
You know what, students, I'm here today.
I know, true enough. That's a really good point. 94 years old, so all of that walking helped him, for sure. For sure.
Now, this is not my studio. I'm just a client. I come in here. David is actually the owner, so that's the way it works. There's the people who own the studio, and then there's the people that would come and use it, and so I would either pay them or a record company pays me to pay them, and it's all the way it works.
So you are a producer.
I'm a record producer. The end result is everyone at their best, and then it becomes the very best it can be. Yes.
Are you the person who were told who won the 8 Juno Awards?
Yeah, I didn't win 8. I won 2, but I was nominated 8 times. So let's not get carried away.
but it was 9.
It was 9. I was nominated for 9. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
What bands have you played in?
Played in? I played in a bunch. Well, I mean, these art bands, Canadian art bands. There's a band called the Real Statics, and I played in. I mean, would you know these bands? I mean, you wouldn't know Pig Farm. We were a punk rock, country punk band from the '90s. Pig Farm, yeah. We played in Bare Feet, and I had dreadlocks down to here. It's a long time. I did. That's right. It was the '90s. Everybody did in the '90s. I know.
Not everybody,
well,
but there were several.
Many did. Yeah.
Do you ever do the recording outside over there? Yeah,
Yes.
Do you make music videos out there?
Yeah. Look at it. I mean, it's just.
It's so beautiful. Yeah,
so
it's so
beautiful.
pretty. I would love to live here.
Okay. All right. So I don't know. We don't have so much time. So what we want to do is have you come up to the control room upstairs, which is up here, so we can listen back.
So what we're going to do, we're going to stand up in our lines. And you're going to turn and face this way. We will say a huge thank you to Michael for taking the time to be our producer today.
You're welcome. Listen, thank you. You guys did all the work. So come and listen to what you did because it's really beautiful.
Just 1 second, Faithlin. You're heading first. Go. This line.
Oh, I see.
These are all CDs that have been made here. Wow! Yeah, all over the walls. Every CD that you see on the wall has been made
Having a great time.
here.
I get paid a lot.
I am a producer.
I'm just saying. Shh, don't put that. Do not record.
don't need like
Arms, you can sit back there. I want to live here. Yep. Come on back here. You can stand. Stand back there. You live here. Don't touch the. You live here. Nothing. I need the address to it. No, I was saying. I was like that. You don't need to be scared of them.
they don't need like.
Better because then you can stand behind.
Yeah,
Some people can kneel, some people can sit.
Yeah. You're right at the front, you can just kind of kneel or sit, whatever you need. Arm up.
So
Here we go.
So so you figured out the recording studio is made up of basically two rooms. The big room where you, the artists, go to record, and then all those microphones need things, they call them preamplifiers. They're to make a microphone make sound. So that's what this console is. Every one of these represents a different microphone on the floor. We only used 5 with others.
It was here on Vimy Ridge we show the world what courage is. For here we stand for liberty. We are the true North, strong and free. We are the true North, strong and free.
One thing, what do you think of this song that Ann Walker wrote?
That encompasses like our feelings for like the Battle of Vimy Ridge because it's such an important battle in the history of Canada.
And it shows just how much like we care and how much she cares and how much it really matters. This battle made our country what it is. It also represents our school really well since we're Vimy Ridge Public School.
I think it tells a story too. It tells a story of our past, present, and future. Like what we did before the battle, what we're doing now, celebrating the battle, and what we're going to do next.
It's unbelievable. This was a little small idea a number of months ago, and I think Mrs. Walker took what we are all about and the story of the Vimy Oaks and turned it into something that I don't think anybody would have known. So thank you to Mrs. Walker. And then the other piece is, it would not have sounded the way it did if you would have not taken the time to make it what it was. So really, when I hear this and when I hear the harmonies that you have done on this, it's unbelievable. And you know, people have heard it and they go, that can't be students from an elementary school. That could not be somebody that young, but it is, and it just shows that you can do whatever you want. And the work that you do makes people like Mr. Heesaker so proud.
We're all little seedlings in this gigantic world, but we all know that we can make a little difference.
Yeah, small steps can make a big change.
Aww.
That's so great.
And a huge thank you to Chalet Studios. At this point, you don't know how important this place is, but when you listen to this recording years down the road, you will know how important this place is. And for Michael, even though he doesn't want to be important, this has been a moment that really I can't believe has happened. So thank you.
That's great.
Thank you, choir.
Oh, and with that, and I stand here and wave, but really the work is Sandra Price, our acting vice principal and starting choir master, who then became too busy, and Alicia Groff, who is standing over there, and I've already mentioned Mrs. Walker, Ann Walker.
We couldn't done it without all our teachers and our principals and everybody here today.
This song is going to be a great reminder for me because I'm leaving next week. Our practice helps so much. I miss all the people. It's okay. I want to celebrate Vimy. Yeah.
So we're going to quietly head on our way.
No, have fun. I think I know the surprises.
A great bunch of kids, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Couldn't be better.
I mean, I recorded flyers if you didn't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the world could learn a lot from them. Don't you think?
That was, yeah. That was, like, it's amazing. Good for them.
One is 10, so.
They get it.
Yep, they do.
Weren't they?
And they were ready. Yeah, totally. They came prepared. They came practiced. You know, you never know getting 30, young people and really young people in the room and distractions and all of that sort of stuff. But they killed it.
Just 1 second, Mr. Hesecker, weren't they running around like that? No? Sorry, like kids. Like kids, okay, deal. Sorry. They were running around like a bunch of kids. Good students.
I'm going to remember this moment because I'm having a
We good? Yep. And now he's on for his second bus ride in his life. He'd never been on a school bus in his life.
Oh, really?
Never been on a school bus in his life. 94 years.
And he's like, he goes, and I think it'll be my last.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, he wasn't enjoying it.
Well,
he said there isn't even bar service on this. Like, what is that?
No, what you got to be is in the very last seat, going over some really properly bumpy roads, and then you get a little altitude.
And I would have called him for the back of the bus kind of guy, but he turned to be a front of the bus.
Oh, there you go.
Because he said, I want to see where the guy's taking me.
I get it.
Which is part of it, too.
And speaking of which, there's the guy. Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Anyway, thanks so much.
Okay.
Rick, thank you very much for taking this crew on this special trip.
Oh, you're very welcome. My pleasure.
Hey everybody, let's hear it for Rick the bus driver.
Different story.
They just said, where's Principal Career?
Far away home or whatever, the principal finds his way back to the
Peter,
school.
you might have to ride in the back of Michael's bike.
My motorbike, yeah, I'll give you
Okay.
So did they really leave?
They're waiting for you.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Oh, they are
Well, that's
waiting.
nice.
Thank you.
Okay.
It was here on Vimy Ridge we showed the world what courage is. For here we stand for liberty. We are the true North, strong and free. On the fields of France and across the countryside, the fight for freedom led us into war. To the hills where many thousand soldiers died, on to Vimy marched the young Canadian Corps. It was here on Vimy Ridge we showed the world what courage is. For here we stand for liberty. We are the true North, strong and free. When Canadians took the ridge, it turned the tide. One first step to end the war that raged too long, and the victory that earned a nation's pride proved that when we stand together, we are strong. It was here on Vimy Ridge we showed the world what courage is. For here we stand for liberty. We are the true North, strong and free. There was a row of sturdy trees. They were shattered by the guns that blazed below, but a soldier saved a pocket full of seeds, and he sent them home to Canada to grow. For 100 years they flourished in our land, brave reminders of the battle and the war. Now descendants of these trees return to France. There'll be oaks along the Vimy Ridge once more. It was here on Vimy Ridge we showed the world what courage is. For here we stand for liberty. We are the true North, strong and free. We are the true North, strong